Ready? So we will review first how to add and then how to get the difference. Then we'll go to multiplying, and then the last topic we did this chapter was factoring. Yep. Okay, so when you guys are adding here, we can line up the like terms together, right? If you're very good at doing it mentally, all you need to do is just match those that have the same variables, and you can add and subtract them, mentally. Okay, so factoring trinomials is confusing. Oh, I'll try to show multiplication and factoring side by side. Maybe that will give you, a new perspective in looking at it. Yep. Okay. We'll get to that in a little bit, George. Okay, so now we're going to add these up. So if they have different signs, you subtract the numbers, you copy the common variable, yeah? So this will still be p squared no matter what. You don't even have to think about that. They will still be p no matter what, yeah? Okay, 3 minus 6. You take the sign of the bigger number. 6 minus 3 is 3. Got it? Next, same signs, add. So 3 and 5 together become an 8. So plus 8. Mommy's working, honey. Okay, and then negative 2 and negative 5 will be negative 7. All right, and then find that in the choices. Okay, so when you're adding, you have to combine like terms. And like terms mean they have the same variables and exponent. You don't have to do anything with the exponents when you're adding. Okay? All right. I'm going to scroll down to get to question number 2. Are you writing this down on your piece of paper? Or you can go ahead and click on the answers already, but if you're not taking down notes, you may not have something to refer to later on. Okay, next. I'm going to clear this one. Did everybody get a chance to get the answer or find the answer? Okay, here we go. Next. Now, what makes subtraction different is that you have to distribute the negative sign. There you go. All right, so the first one is 2x squared. Sorry, I have to admit our friends right here. So 2x squared plus 6x minus 11, yeah? Okay, now since we are multiplying everything by negative 1, these will change their sign. So the 5x squared becomes negative, the negative x becomes positive, and the 7 becomes negative. So distribute the negative sign. Does that make sense? Okay, so now can you tell me what's the correct answer? A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? So which ones are obviously wrong? These two these two have different signs, so you cannot add them together. So that means A and D are out. Okay, the only possible answers are B or C. So tell me what's the correct answer. B, according to Juliet. You agree? B, according to Juliet. So you have negative 3x squared here, right? You add them together plus 7x minus 18. That's perfect. All right. Any questions? I'm going to clear the ink. Do you have questions? Nope. All right. Okay, here we go. And this is where I'm going to show multiplication and factoring side by side, George. So hopefully you'll see the connection. You remember what method we did for this one? We used the box method, remember? Oh, why did I spell it wrong? Box method. So we're going to make a 2 by 2 box, right? Okay. And then you have here m, take away 4. And then I have here m plus 3. So one thing I'm happy about, if you go back to school, is I will be more focused in helping you guys out. Because you see right now, I have to deal with this 4-year-old. Okay. Alright, honey. Okay. Zoom now, okay? All right, so now we're going to multiply these together. M times M is M squared. And then negative 4 times M is negative 4M. And then M times 3 is positive 3M. And negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. But see, you have to combine like terms. Yeah? Okay, so now can you help me find the answer among A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? Can you help me find the answer while I'm tying this little monster's hair? Okay, anybody? Where did you find, what letter did you find the correct answer? Letter C, according to Cicely. Alright, so what's negative 4M plus 3M? What's going to happen to that? If they have different signs, you have to subtract them, don't you? Yeah? So, negative 4 plus 3. What's negative 4M plus 3M? What's going to happen to that? Sometimes if you line them up vertically, you're going to see it, more visual. 1. Very good, Esme. So that, oh no. So that means we're going to pick the one that has a 1M, right? So it's going to be letter B, yeah? So M squared minus 1M minus 12. Make sense? Okay, now George, you had a question earlier about factoring. In factoring, this is what's given to you. You're given the answer. Yeah? And then now you're supposed to find the two numbers that were, or not two numbers, but two expressions that were multiplied to get to that. So you're going to do the reverse. So if you have three terms, 1, 2, 3, that's a trinomial, right? Okay, do you remember the diagram that I told you to use as a guide? The one with like a four-way stop picture? If it's a trinomial, you have to use the X method. Yeah? Cool. Okay, so use the X method. Negative 12 goes right here, and then this is negative 1m. So you put negative 1, right? You gotta find two numbers that multiply to negative 12, but when you add or subtract, they become negative 1. So then what do we do? We're going to try, oh yeah, it's 2 times 6, but I don't get 1 when I add them. How about 3 times 4? Ooh, I don't get 1 when I add them, but if I make one of them negative, right? Negative 4 plus 3 will become negative 1. So, oh, we found the answer. So that basically is where where these two will come from. So this will be m minus 4 and this will be m plus 3. So you see how they're opposites of each other? Yeah? Uh-huh. So you can check whether, you got the correct answer by multiplying these two binomials and see if you will get the original problem. Yeah, so that what basically is, that's basically the meaning of factoring. It's like when you have 16, what are the factors of 16? 2 times 8. So you're looking for those numbers that will give 16 as their product. But of course, if the expressions become complicated, then it's a little harder, right? That's why I gave you that diagram to refer to. Okay, but don't feel bad if you don't understand like one type of expression to factor because every case is different. Yeah? Some students just, if it's multiple choice, yes, honey, like if it's a multiple choice, some students just multiply the choices together and see which one gives them the problem. And I was like, okay, like do whatever works for you. You get what I mean? Yes. Okay. So, next one, we're gonna do the box method again. I'm going to put the x minus 3 on top. There you go. And then we put the x squared minus 8x plus 2. Alright, and then we do the multiplication again like one by one. So when you're multiplying, you add the exponents. When you have a number and a variable, you just put them side by side. You add the exponents again. When you're multiplying, this one will become positive 24x. And be very, very careful because the students make mistakes often in the sign. Yeah, that's why I always look at the sign first. Sign, then the number, and then the variable. I told you that as a shortcut also, like negative times negative, positive. 8 times 3, 24, and then I put the variable. So you have to have some order so you don't get confused. 2x, there you go. And then positive times negative, that's negative. Do the number, 6. Yep. Okay, so now can you guys help me find the correct answer? Remember, if they have the same variables and exponents, you can combine them. You can combine them. Okay, so can you help me find the correct answer? Excuse me. Can you help me find the correct answer? A, B, C, or D? So if you add these two together, since they're both negative, negative 8 and negative 3 will become negative 11, right? And when you add these two together, that's going to be 26x. So what's the final correct answer? What's the final correct answer? In the chat pod, anyone? C, according to Aiden. You guys agree with Aiden? If you got C, according to Sean. All right, that's great. Okay, very good. So it's letter C. Good morning for those who just joined us. We're doing 7.9a polynomials and factoring. All right, let's move on. Hang on, honey, mommy's working. Okay, thank you. You're gonna go to Zoom now, honey. All right, next, number 5. What was 4? Oh, I just erased it. Sean and yeah, and Aiden said C. Okay, honey. Bye. Set up your Chromebook now, honey. All right. Next, let's go to number 5. Oh, okay. So, all right, then you gotta find its match. So you mean the choices are shuffled, right? Okay, then you're gonna find the match. Okay, now let's go to number 5. So number 5, b minus 11 to the second power. It just means you're multiplying b minus 11 by itself 2 times. There you go. Yep. Okay, so another way, instead of doing the box method, is to do your rainbow method, yeah? Like, for example, like b times b, make a rainbow, that's b squared. And then b times 11, okay, is going to be negative 11b. And then now do it again here. Negative 11 times b will become negative 11b. And negative 11 times negative 11 will be positive 121, right? I think number 4, Brandon, was the one with 26. There you go. They are mixed up. 4 is, thank you, Aiden. All right. Did I remember it right? I think it's the one with the 26. Okay. So now you're going to combine the like terms here. So your final answer will be b squared. You combine these two. That's going to be minus 22b plus 121. So make sure that you understand how we do it, yeah? Because in your independent practice later on, if number 5 is like this, in the one that you will do on your own, it's also going to be similar to this, right? So make sure that you only not find the answer, but you also know somehow how we got to that. Yeah? Okay. All right. So this is the answer to number 5. Go ahead and match that with your Schoology. Mm-hmm. Who among you drinks their oatmeal? All right. Moving on. Yes? You have questions so far? Just feel free to interrupt me if you have questions. Next, here we go. Ooh, question number 6. Question number 6. Okay, and I think this is also another best time to answer. To answer. It was the one with 121, Valerie. So it's negative in the middle, so you have to pick the negative as well. Uh-huh. Okay, so 2x plus y and then 2x minus y. So this is the best time to like show factoring again later on side by side. Okay, so we can do either the box method or the rainbow method. When you do the rainbow, don't just do the rainbows all at once. It's just gonna confuse you. You make a rainbow, get an answer, okay? So 2 times 2, that's gonna be 4x squared. Make another rainbow so you don't lose track of what's next. 2x times negative y is positive 2xy. And then make another rainbow here. That's positive, so oh, I messed up the sign. This is positive times negative, so this should have been negative. Yeah, so I was even telling you, be careful, do the rainbow so you don't lose track. I was the one who lost track. So 2xy for this one, positive, right? That's why some students prefer the box also, because it's easier to kind of keep track of things. It has a visual way of telling you, hey, you haven't multiplied these two yet. Okay, then y times negative y, that's going to be negative y to the second power. Okay, but what's going to happen to these? They negative and a positive combination, so they zero out, yeah? Okay, so you can see what the final answer is already. But I want to go back to George's question earlier and explain factoring again side by side with this. So the correct answer is 4x squared minus y squared. If you guys are asked to factor this one, you remember what we talked about, difference of two squares? Dots, right? We called them dots. Difference of two squares. So this was the one when we saw that this one can be broken down into 2x times 2x, right? And this one can be broken down into negative y times positive y. Yeah? Okay, so then that means we get the answer as 2x minus y, right? And then 2x again. Oh, where's my pen? Okay, so 2x and then plus y. There you go. So that's when you're asked to factor, and this is when you're asked to multiply. But going back to the problem, where can you find the answer again? It's the one with the minus in the middle. This one. It's the binomial with the minus in the middle because it's a difference of two squares. All right. Good morning, everyone. If you just joined us, we're doing 7.9a, polynomials and factoring. We were already doing number 6, so if you can take a quick look at your screen before I erase them, and then maybe just watch the video later on to kind of, catch up on the other questions. All right. Okay, I'm going to close this one. Let's go to 7. Number 7. Oh, do you remember this? Solving the equation. Solving the equation. So when you have like s minus 5 and s plus 3 equal to 0, right? So what do? We copy each one. It's letter B on my screen, Cicely. It's letter B on my screen, yeah. Okay, so s minus 5 equal to 0. There you go. And then s plus 3 equal to 0. So just copy each separately and then make it equal to 0. Okay, so now we have to get the s by itself. You're going to move that 5 over. And then you're going to move that 3 over. You have to change the sign. So can you tell me what the values of s will be? So what are your answers? Don't forget to switch their sign when you're moving one across the equal sign. So what's the answer? In the chat pod, what is s equal to? Aiden said -3 and +5. That's great. Okay. Alright, so I don't know if you remember the shortcut that I taught you last time. It's actually just the opposite of this one, right? It's the opposite of the constant divided by the number here if there is a number. If it's just s, it's actually 1. So opposite is 5 divided by 1. That's how you get the 5. Opposite of 3 is -3 divided by 1. Then you get -3. Right? Okay. Alright, so find the answers to number 7 because the choices are shuffled. And then we're going to move on again. Clear the ink. Now let's go to number 8. Oh, all of these now are factoring. Okay, and it seems like you have to do a lot of work for all of them, but not really. So you also can come up with your own shortcuts. Let's say, for example, like this one. This is a trinomial, so if you refer to that four-way stop, you know you have to do the x method, right? But if you don't want to do that, if you're just learning this for the first time, you can still figure out what the answer is. So how? Find two numbers and multiply to -63. Can you help me in the chat pod? What numbers multiply to 63? And you already get clues from your choices, right? So what numbers multiply to 63? Okay, you shouldn't be thinking too hard. You're looking at the answers on your screen, remember? What numbers multiply to 63? They should be among the choices, right? Just give me two numbers regardless of signs. 9 and 7. Very good. So 9 and 7. Some students kind of line them up vertically so they get to see, oh, which one is negative and which one is positive, yeah? So since one of them has to be negative, so when you multiply them, you get -63. You look at the middle number, yeah? Since it's positive, it has to take the sign of the bigger number. So that means 7 has to be negative. 9 minus 7 is 2. And I think Aiden got the answer already. Yep. Oh, wait, Aiden. X. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So since 7 is negative, then it's going to be x minus 7. And since 9 is positive, it's going to be x plus 9. All right. So find that among your choices because they're shuffled. Uh-huh. Yeah, and just like what I told you, like your classmates shared like a bunch of, websites that they're using to check their answers, and I have no complaints about that. Use them to your own advantage, but you don't deprive yourself of like knowing how to do it. Because if you pass my class, you're gonna move on to the next math class. So they're assuming like you know all of these because you're gonna need them, right? Yep, so don't shortchange yourself. Know how to do it, and then if you're doubting your answer, go ahead and check it online. That's fine. I also teach my 8-year-old the same skill. Work it out first, everything on your homework, and then we'll check it later. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. Next, number 9. Uh-huh. So it's another trinomial, but now it has it has a number in front, right? Okay, so let me write it bigger over here, and let's try to do another shortcut. So if there is a number in front, you gotta multiply it, right? So 4 times 3, what's that? That's 12. Yeah? So now you're going to look for two numbers that multiply to 12, but they add up to negative 13. Okay. And if you did those extra credits, which I will be grading today, even the ones you sent me in Remind, yeah, because remember today, March 12th, is the grade cutoff, so all the things you turn in for extra credit, I'm gonna be including them in your grade. Okay. Alright. So you're gonna look for two numbers that multiply to 12, but when you add or subtract, you get negative 13. And if you've seen that pattern, if this is bigger than that, then basically it's the number and 1, right? Number and 1, because 12 and 1 is 13, right? But this is negative, so what do? You change their sign to negative, so when you combine them, you get negative 13. Yep. Okay, but since we multiply here by 4, remember in the x method we divide them? Divide by 4? Divide by 4. And then we do the bottoms up rule, right? You guys remember the bottoms up rule? If this is a fraction, negative 1 over 4, the bottom number goes in front of a variable, and then the numerator becomes the constant. While the negative 12 over 4, of course, you don't have to rewrite it, but I'm just kind of explaining here. So you can simplify this into what? Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3, right? So there is no bottom number anymore. So that means you're just going to write x and then the constant. So that's your answer. Find that in your choices. Find that in your choices. All right. And of course, worst scenario is you forgot how to do this, right? Well, if it's a multiple choice, I showed you earlier that factoring is just the opposite of multiplying. So some students just multiply, like pick one if you're lucky the first time, that you will get what the correct answer is, assuming you multiply correctly also. Okay. All right, here we go. Next. 10. All right, number 10, we're going to factor again. So 20n squared minus 21n. Okay, for those who just joined us right now, we're doing 7.9a, polynomials and factoring, okay? All right, if you haven't accessed this in Schoology and you haven't signed in either in our Google Sheets, you're missing, two ways of signing in for attendance. So access this in Schoology, turn it in when we guys are done. So if you turn it in, then it means you're present, or signed in if you can. Okay, so let's do this again. I'm going to show the X method. For those who are more comfortable with the X method, 20 times 5, negative 100. Middle number goes at the bottom. Okay, so what two numbers multiply to negative 100 and add or subtract to negative 21? Now, if it doesn't come to your mind like the answers like right away, do it in order, trial and error. Start with 2. Does 2 divide 100? Oh yeah, 50. What else is next? 3 doesn't go to 100. 4 goes into 100. 4 times 25. What was question 9? Okay. I know it was one of C or D, but I forgot which combination was right. Can somebody help me on that one? Okay. It's not A, it's not B. Okay. So the x minus 3 for x minus 1, according to Brandon. Thank you. Okay. All right. Where was I? Yeah. So So don't think that it also just comes, to my mind like naturally when I see a number. No, like in my head, I'm just kind of doing things in order. I start by 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 4 goes into 100. 5 times 20, and so on. You get what I mean? Okay. So now, is there any combination here that would give you negative 21? So are these 21 apart? No. Are these 21 apart when you subtract or combine them? Well, they make 29 when you add, but when you subtract, what do you get? 21, yeah? Right? So then this works. So we'll start with that. 25 and 4. Okay, and then later on, you just gotta do your trial and error. Oh, I need this to be negative. That means it took the sign of the bigger number. Put the negative on the 25. Okay? Alright. And then what if you made a mistake of, writing down the answer already? You go, oh, I know that. It's n minus 25 and n plus 4. Now this is one way you can check. You go n times n. Oh man, that's n squared. I'm not getting a 20, right? So that tells you did something wrong. So then go back. Now that's why I like the X method, because if you do something wrong, you can always go back to it. Unlike when you're like doing it, using any shortcut. So if there is a number here in the front, the value of A, right? That's A, 20. You're gonna divide by that one. Okay. Now reduce this. If you divide each by 4, you get 1 over 5. Correct? If you divide each by 5, you get what? Negative 5 over 4. Okay, so now do your bottoms up rule. So the final answer will be bottom number first, minus 5. So 4. There you go. Aiden wrote it right. And then bottom number first, then plus 1. All right. Okay, so hopefully we finish this together by 11, so you'll have time to do set B. Next. Oh, you can do this in your head without doing any work. See this one? That's a difference of 2 squares, yeah? Because there's a minus in the middle, and each is a perfect square or perfect pair. Like 16 is what? 4 times 4, yeah? And then m squared is what? Negative m times m. So you got your answer already. 4 minus m, 4 plus m. And it doesn't matter which comes first. Got that? Okay, next one. 11. Oh, same thing here. There's a minus and there's a plus, and each is a perfect square, right? So 64 is what? 8 times negative 8, am I right? Okay. And then the 9x squared will be positive 3x, positive 3x. Because 3 times 3 is 9, x times x is x squared. So you got the answers already. Just find those combination. 8 plus 3x and negative 8 plus 3x. Okay, and last but not the least, these are the only ones that are not multiple choice, the ones at the bottom. And even in your individual work, it's going to be the same thing. The last ones. What did wait, you did 11 too fast. Oh, what was the answer? Oh, 11? Oh, like, I said like 16 is 4 times 4, and then m squared is negative m times positive m, right? So then that's the answer. 4 minus m, 4 plus m. It's like how we did over this one. What was 12? No, I wrote it down like this. Negative 8 times 8 is negative 64. And then 9x squared was 3x times 3x. So then match the answer. It's a negative 8 plus 3x and an 8 plus 3x. Because that's a difference of 2 squares again. Yeah, so over time, you tend to see some shortcuts, right? Okay, move on. Here we go. Ooh. So you have a word bank right here. You just have to kind of match them. Okay, so if I'm a student who does not know how to do factoring, but I know how to multiply, I could just do the X method for all these, right? And match them with the question. Okay? That's one. But I wanna explain again how to do this factoring technique in case you're still learning it for the first time. Okay, now there's four of them now. It's not three, it's not two, it's four. So if it's four, you have to do factoring by grouping. So if you were here last time, I explained how to do factoring by grouping by doing GCS repeatedly, right? I'm going to try to explain it again if you're still learning it for the first time. First, split them into two groups. Don't even think. First two, last two. And then divide each one by the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor is what? 2 for 2. This is 2 times 1 and this is 2 times 4. So the greatest common factor is 2. You bring down the lower power. This is y3, this is y2. So then that means I'm going to divide by y2. So this is your GCF. Now get the answer. So 2 divided by 2, that's 1. Y3 divided by y2, you get 1y left. Minus 8 divided by 2, that's 4. Yeah? And then you bring down the y2's. Oh, no, you cancel the y2's, I mean. Then no more y. Yeah? Okay, now you're going to do the same thing to the second side. Find a number that can divide both of them. I think this one is pretty obvious, right? It's 5. Okay, so 5 divided by 5, you get y. 20 divided by 5, you get 4. And how do you know again if you're right? You know you're right if these two are matching. So that means you have already found the answer. You have a y minus 4 over there, right? And where does the 2y squared plus 5 come from? It's by combining these two. So the final answer is y minus 4, 2y squared plus 5. Oh, let me go back to school. I'm going to miss the sound of that. The blower guy. So we also have one in school, right? Okay, next, let's go to number 2. I mean, the second one here. Did you find a match? Do you know how to put the answer? You Oh, I asked if you knew how to put the answer. Now I'm like second guessing myself. How do you do it again? I think you have to click on the blank and then you click on the answer. There you go. So click on the blank and then you click on the answer. Okay, next. Let's do this one over here. What's it? You can I think it's too small. I'm gonna rewrite it right here. Okay, so let's get the GCF, which is x, right? So remember you split that into 2. 2 minus 1 is just 1x. X and x, they cancel. Alright. Now here, oh, there's nothing in common but 1. Yeah? 2 doesn't even go into here. So the GCF is 1. X divided by 1 is x. Negative 2y divided by 1 will be the same. But we're right because they're matching. So then that means the answer there is the one that has a x minus 2y. And the other factor is x plus 1. Right? Okay? You got that one? Now this looks the most complicated because it has 4 terms. But once you get the common binomial factor here, you're like halfway done. No, not even halfway. Like you're done. Yeah? Okay. One last. So you have time to do your independent practice set B, which is similar to this. I just like changed the numbers. Okay, so divide, I think it's what, 3? Yeah, 3x, but no y because 9x doesn't have a y. Okay, so did you match the answer? Maybe like you matched the letter on my screen. Uh-huh. So, but you have a second attempt to do it. So, like, watch the video later on and match them again. Uh-huh. Yeah, because I think we were already number 3 when somebody noticed that. Miss, they're like not matching. They're shuffled. Okay. Anyway, so 15 divided by 3 is 5. X divided by x, no more x. Okay, then you bring down your y. Plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. Cancel the x. No more x, right? Okay, so here you divide by 2. Okay, so GCF of 10 and 6 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5y. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And they're matching. So that means the answer to that is the one that has a 5y plus 3. And this is 3x plus 2. Okay, so hopefully you guys matched them correctly. Even before somebody caught that the choices were shuffled. But anyway, you have 2 attempts. So I'm gonna close this video and upload it later on so you can watch it. Alright, so when you're done, go ahead and submit your answer.